So, Mike, what are some of the big trends that you're seeing in the SLED space right now?
So probably the biggest is around app modernization. There are a lot of folks that have legacy systems out there, and they've been working really hard to figure out ways to modernize those systems, but do it in an incremental way, as opposed to completely replacing those platforms. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money, and folks are trying to figure out ways to be more agile. The second is around cybersecurity, and quite honestly, eliminating the noise and figuring out ways to create some more proactive approaches in the organization. And then the last is around AI and Gen AI, and really kind of explaining the differences between the two and putting folks in a position where they can clearly accelerate with AI and at the same time start to utilize Gen AI as a platform to help them in improving constituent outcomes.
And so obviously you're having tons of conversations with customers and prospects and folks across the community about what's on the horizon for them. And what are some of the big challenges and opportunities that you're hearing from those folks as you talk to them?
So a lot of folks are interested in accelerating outcomes, but one of their biggest challenges is the procurement process. So folks are looking for ways to be able to build more agility into the procurement process so that it can support rapid innovation. And then the second thing is, because the market is changing so rapidly, making sure that there's an opportunity for training and retooling. There's a big issue with the amount of resources to support programs in the public sector. So attracting those talented folks and then giving them the skills so that they're excited about the work that they're accomplishing is a second thing that I think is a big area of opportunity in the public sector.
And there are so many at a conference like this. There are so many things that we can focus on, so many things we can think about. From your perspective, what's the most underrated area of focus right now across the SLED community?
So I mentioned AI and Gen AI, and I wouldn't necessarily call it underrated. I would say, because of the confusion and the concern, it is definitely something that folks are very cautious and concerned about. But if you think about the benefits associated with being able to improve access to government and information, to be able to solve problems. I mean, we worked with New York State on their contact center and improving the AI capabilities so that they can deliver better constituent services. Or at the state of Wisconsin, their workforce development group, in using predictive analytics to clear the backlog and process 157,000 claims per week. Those are huge advances in the ability to leverage AI and Gen AI as a way to accelerate. It's also going to help with automating. There's lots of mundane, repetitive tasks that when you deal with folks in HHS, they don't want to deal with on a regular basis. Entering in the data versus helping to process and support their constituents is also another area that it really can help. And the key message is that it needs to be done in a secure and a responsible way. And I really appreciated the session yesterday that talked about building a framework in order to accept not only AI, but generative AI for moving forward.
And then lastly, just thinking about something like generative AI and thinking about how sort of quickly it became a top line of thought for folks across the community. How do you see this market, the SLED market, growing and changing and evolving and sort of developing going forward?
So first off, I think generative AI is going to be able to help with that augmentation of some of those big lift and shift migrations. Again, folks are not going to want to put themselves in a position of highly costly multi-year projects. And I think AI is really going to help them be more agile in doing that. The second thing is security. And I think security really needs to be embedded into the fabric of every project that is taken on within the public sector, and making sure there's a plan to be able to support cyber as an embedded component. And then the last is really the Gen AI use cases are going to continue to increase. So as we learn more about the capabilities of Gen AI, figuring out ways to plug it into a framework that makes the most sense.